We started back a few years ago, and we started off just with nutrition. And as time progressed forward, I realized, okay, nutrition is not going to be enough. Our goal was to really create this dashboard for the body, and that's just our complete vision. How do we create a dashboard? And nutrition is not enough. So we added another layer on top of that, which was microbiome. And when we went to the microbiome aspect, this field it can be quite difficult because you have so many people that are competing against each other, not to change the field of microbiome, but who's going to be first, who's going to be better. And again, this goes back to this collective, needing to create this collective to really make a difference. So now that we've had this, a few partners within the microbiome space, okay, how can we record these metrics? And so now we're getting these health metrics, and we're recording these metrics within people, or programming these aspects where you can look at the heart rate, you can look at the movement, all of these things that different health kits and softwares they absolutely allow. But it's about the context of them. And so what we're doing is it's not just going to be a bunch of data that's content. This is where we get big data when we have a big data issue with, but it's going to be all of this content put within context that you can allow another person to imitate, to copy. What does that look like? That looks like if I go to sleep at 10 o'clock in the evening, but 15 minutes before I go to sleep, I do a 10-minute meditation, and then I go to sleep. And then I wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning, and I have a sleeping score of, let's just say, 97%. And we will allow other people to copy you if you want them to be able to imitate you. And what that does within this health ecosystem that we're creating will allow that potential user to make revenue by sharing their health metrics within that ecosystem, and allowing someone that's just slightly lower below their level of efficiency to become more efficient by imitating your 97% sleep average, as well as the heart rate and your movements without the day. So it's not about just following the movement of people, it's about following the metrics. The same thing applies with nutrition, although we have some things to play around with the gut bacteria, how these gut bacteria are shaped based on your nutrition and your movement. And so we're still playing around with how to build these algorithms correctly. And, it's been a process, but we're really happy to get to a point where our entire ecosystem is really defined. Most people would say, these guys, they're wasting their time. They've pivoted. We haven't, we have pivoted, but we haven't changed the essence of what our vision is, which is, how do we create a dashboard for the human body? And how do we do that by encompassing this entire ecosystem that's going to make us completely better? Microbiome tests from this aspect are completely inefficient when you do one microbiome test. Does nothing, because your gut microbes are constantly changing, and you need to be able to understand how a person is consuming food and how their environment is and what their stress levels are like, and what can potentially even help decrease those stress levels within an individual. And this is where we tie in, meditation, sleep, nutrition, movement, your interactions with people, what's your work life like. It's about the environment. This brings together one song for me. It's like, love in the marriage, love in the marriage, and it's like, what can you really bring together, that creates, the proper data? You can't have one without the other in this aspect. So you have to create an entire ecosystem of data to create context, and the marriage of all of this data is what creates this ultimate self identity of who you are and who you could become.